Simon T. Chair for the commission.
I'm Blake Chard, commission member.
Julianne McGarva, chief examiner.
And Brian Hurley, fire chief.
Jay Mason with the police department.
Well, thank you. And may I have you identify yourself? I'm sorry, you're sitting right there as an audience.
Yes, I'm Andrea McGee, and I'm a candidate for city council, and I'm here to listen to Brian give an update about the RFA.
Well, great, thank you. Welcome. I'm glad you can join us today. So the next item on our agenda is changes to agenda. Is there any proposed changes to the agenda? Is it good as presented?
It's good, it's presented.
It's good, okay. All right, let's move to the next item. Thank you. Approval of minutes. So this will be the minutes for the May 18 meeting. Commissioner Shah, do you have any question, any comments, or? Yeah.
No, I read through them and agree with them.
Yeah, I read it through too, and then so I don't have any question or comments myself. So I entertain any motion if you have one.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 18th.
And I second the motion, and those who approve the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so the motion's adopted and the minutes of May 18th officially adopted. So next item is status of eligibility list. So Julian, you want to take away? Go ahead.
Sure. So we have attached the current eligibility list. If you want to peruse those for just a minute, you can see we have a couple that expired, but we are not currently opening them at this time. So the captain medical services officer and the fire captain promotional, those expired in May. We do plan in 2024 to actually create a new list, but there's no plans to start that process at this point. The firefighter paramedic is an active continuous, and here in just a minute we'll see that we have an addition to that continuous list. Firefighter entry is good until November of 2023, and the lateral paramedic firefighter is good until March of 2024. We have a paramedic, which the firefighter paramedic is active continuous, and that's the same as a paramedic, which is also active continuous. We have a fire lieutenant or paramedic lieutenant that is good until May of 2024. And then we have the same, our active continuous in the police department, the entry level, lateral, and certified. The service specialist 1 is no longer, it expired, but you will see also later that we'll be addressing that on an agenda item about possibly making that an active continuous list. And that's it.
All right, any question, any comments, Commissioner Sharp?
No questions.
All right, thank you, Julian. Let's move to the next item on the agenda, which is approval of entry-level police eligibility list.
Yes, this list, we did the actual oral board in June. We added 3 people to the list based on the oral board, and we've attached them and their scores. We removed 2 people. They failed the chief's interview, and they have actually been removed from the list. So we have a total of 7 on the list. Let's see, it says 6 twice.
So, aside from that typo, any question or comment, Commissioner Sharp, on the numbers? The last one should be 7, yeah.
I'm sorry?
So you have 2 6s, is that they rank the same, or is there, it should be?
No, that was a typo. That was a
Okay.
typo. It would be number 7.
Yeah.
So I'll fix that list.
Ready for motion?
I'm ready for motion if you have one.
Yeah, I move that we approve the. Let's see, what is it? I don't see the title of it. Firefighter,
Entry level.
Entry level police eligible.
entry level police officer. With that one typo correction.
I second the motion, and those who approve the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so motion is adopted. Now the police officer eligibility list entry level is now adopted. Thank you, Julian. So the next on our item agenda is the approval of paramedic firefighter eligibility list.
Yeah, so this is an active continuous list, and there has been another testing procedure through Thurston County Medic 1. We added 1 to the list, Nate Rylesdem, and he was added to the list. He is number 4.
Okay.
No one was dropped.
The list is good through July 24. Okay. All right.
I move that we approve the firefighter paramedic list as presented.
I second the motion, and those who approve the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the firefighter paramedic eligibility list is officially adopted. Thank you, Julian. So next is approval to create continuous list for police service specialist 1.
That is correct. We have gone out on the recruitment process 3 times, but have not been successful with hiring. So what we would like to do, instead of doing an exam plan and continually bringing it back, we'd like to make it an active continuous recruitment. This will also help us so that as we go through the process, we can react fairly quickly. One of our problems has been that we've started the process with the background with a couple of applicants, and they've been hired away by other agencies before we could complete the process. So we would just like to move it to an active continuous list.
So one question I have, Julian, is when you say a new exam plan, well, what do you mean? Like every time when you need to do a recruitment, you have to have a new exam plan in the past? How you do?
Yeah, if we don't state when we first put it forward that the exam plan is for a continuous listing, then once we complete the oral board process, then and if nothing happens and our list goes away, then we have to come back to the commission with a new plan.
Okay.
So we have no one on the list.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and
so by having
so the plan, we're not changing the plan, really. We're just asking that the commission allow us to make it an active continuous plan.
So
this is a plan that was enacted in January of 2023, but we've expired everyone off the list and expired the process. So we have to, since we have to, you know, rather than keep going through this process and bringing it back for approval, we'd just like to make it active continuous until we fill the position.
That's my understanding, is that unless you make any changes to the composition or the content of the plan, like changing the percentage for, you know, say one of the criteria, rating category, I don't see why you need to. My understanding, why do you need to change? Why do you need to have a new plan every time?
it's not so much a new plan, it's just we have to bring it back to you for approval each time it expires or we've gone through the list and have it re-upped. And what we're asking is that we have the same process, just with kind of an open end date, so that we can be more competitive and more nimble.
So even though it's the same plan, you still require, in the past, you still require the commissioner's approval. Okay, got it. So this way you're proposing that so long as the plan has not changed, I mean, there's content of the exam has not changed, you can continue using it until such a point in time that you're changing it, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's correct. It's just the type of recruitment we're doing.
Got it.
Is changing.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. Any question, comments, Commissioner Chart?
Nope, I'm good with it.
Okay, any motion?
I move we approve the request to accept the Police Service Specialist 1 exam as an active continuous recruitment with the current plan as presented.
And I second the motion, and those of us who approve the motion said aye.
Aye.
Aye, so the motion's approved, and the the exam plan for the continuing list of Police Service Specialist 1 is now officially adopted. So next item on our agenda is update on RFA process and fire department plans for the future.
Great. Thank you for the invitation to speak this a little bit, and I'll, if you'll grant me the liberty, I'll just do a brief overview of the process and really what occurred, and then certainly answer any questions you have, and I'll make some comments about moving forward certainly, and then answer any questions you have. So the concept of a regional fire authority is not new in the state. There are 13 regional fire authorities. In fact, there are 2 in Thurston County, with West Thurston, which is Rochester, Little Rock, Grand Mound, and Southeast Thurston, which is primarily the Yelm, Rainier area. In 2018, the city hired a consultant and undertook a regionalization study to look at what options would there be for regionalization of other fire departments in the area. And that involved, the participants were Tumwater, Olympia, Lacey Fire District 3, Fire District 6, which is East Olympia, kind of south and east of Tumwater, McLean Black Lake, which is the Black Lake area out to the west. And then West Thurston was included in that too, a bit more to the south and west. So that study took quite a while. It was quite extensive. And the recommendation from the consultant in the end was that Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater consider forming a regional fire authority, and that the other fire districts look at combining in some way as well, but not as part of the RFA. In the end, Lacey Fire District 3 took a look at it, and they had their reasons. They didn't feel the timing was right for them, and they chose not to participate in the planning process. So Olympia and Tumwater had some conversations, and of course, a lot of things happened, were impacted through COVID, and I think this effort was one of them. Each department was really just in each city was just struggling to provide services, and it was going to be difficult to really continue the planning process through COVID. But really, we did rekindle the process, and I believe it was March of 2021. I may be wrong on the month. Each city did vote to form a planning committee to examine the formation of an RFA. That planning committee first met in August of 2021. And met, mostly it was twice a month. The committee met because we had to develop a plan, a joint plan for the RFA to present to the city councils. And that plan was developed and presented and adopted by each city council in December of 2022, and at the same time placed on the April 2023 ballot as a special election. And my understanding is that date was chosen because that was if the election happened in say August or the general election later in the year, that would have postponed the start of the RFA from January 1, 2024 to January 1, 2025. It just had to do with the RFA having to exist by October to request that taxes be collected in January. And of course, the outcome was that it was not passed by the voters. The funding methodology in the plan included a fire benefit charge, which required a supermajority vote to enact the fire benefit charge. And that charge is really related to the amount of resources that are required to put out a fire in any given structure. So, a 2,000 square foot residence is much different in the amount of resources it requires as a 100,000 square foot warehouse or something. So the fee varied. So let me stop there and see if you have any questions, and I can talk about our plans moving forward.
Chief, that's great background, a lot of information that I wasn't completely aware of. But as I recall, there were some positions created and put on the list in anticipation of this passing. What was that process, and what is the future of those positions?
I guess I'll speak to, I'm not exactly sure which positions you're talking about. I can speak to two different things that I think you might be speaking to. You may be speaking to we created battalion chief positions in the fire department. And that's something we have been working on for a number of years to implement battalion chiefs. And through the last biennial budget process, the fire department gained 3 new staff positions, which allowed us to increase our minimum staffing and have battalion chiefs on duty 24/7. It's just having a supervisor on 24/7. So that effort was occurring, but that was part of the RFA plan, because both Olympia and Tumwater would have battalion chiefs on duty, and the plan adopted a model that included 2 battalions, meaning it would be a 6-station department, and a battalion would be 3 stations, and there would be 2 battalion chiefs. So the things kind of worked in parallel. It's something that the city was trying to accomplish anyway, and we were going to carry those battalion chiefs into the RFA.
Yeah, that was my main question.
Okay.
And I appreciate that answer.
Okay. The other thing that came to mind was, with the RFA, the cities didn't have an the fire departments didn't have an independent administrative structure, a finance director, HR director, and those were other positions identified in the RFA plan that would have to be filled as a standalone organization.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Chief, you mentioned only Olympia and Tumwater was planning to form the RFA. What happened to City of Lacey when, as recommended by the study?
Yeah, if you recall, the City of Lacey, they were annexed by Lacey Fire District 3. So it wasn't just the city; it would be the entire fire district, and it's a very large district. It's the largest fire department in the county. And they run, from Lacey up into Hawks Prairie, clear down, near to, the Nisqually reservation and what have you, the casino and everything. So it's a very large department. And fire districts are just inherently operate differently than city fire departments. And that wasn't the only reason. Certainly cities and districts form RFAs, but, I would just refer back to the district, the commissioners just made a decision, and I can't speak to all of their reasons, but for them, the timing wasn't right to join the planning process with the cities. I don't think they said it would never be a consideration, but at that time when it came up, it wasn't going to be beneficial for them.
Well, so the proposal to form the RFA, was it driven by the overall increased efficiency in the operations, or what was the some of the major factors for?
Sure. So as you're probably aware, local governments, are a bit constrained for funding options, and fire and really police make up about 50% of the general fund for the cities. And as general fund departments, there's obviously competition with all the other departments and resources that are needed in the cities, and the demands for response services have been increasing over the years and stretching our resources pretty thin. So this was really a very forward-looking idea to create a structure that could adequately fund the department independent of the cities, and look at future needs and establish plans to meet those needs, and at the same time establish reserve funds that we don't necessarily have right now. And even though it would cost somewhat more to start the organization, the thought was that in the longer run, it would be a more efficient organization rather than having two individual departments.
Got it. Thank you. Helpful. Any other comments, Commissioner Shaw?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, let me be a little bit forward looking then, because we had a strategic plan in the fire department, and it really ended in about 2020, and any future strategic planning was put on hold as we went through the RFA process. So I'll just assure you that we're in a phase right now where I'm about ready to send out an RFP for a consultant to do some work for us, to do an agency evaluation and a strategic plan for the organization. And I can assure you this is going to be a community-based plan. Community members, other city employees, business groups in the city, we're going to bring them into this process to really hear what the community wants their fire department to look like going into the future. It'll look at our deployment models. The reality is our call volumes, the city's growing, which is driving our call volume. And there are we need to be forward looking in that ideas like, where does Tumwater's next third fire station, where does it need to be located? Because that's a long-term process to develop that and come up with a plan to staff it. So we need to do that planning work now. So we're going to do that agency evaluation, which will really tell us where we stand today with meeting standards, and what needs the organization has. And that will feed in then to our strategic planning process, which will lay out basically a 5-year plan. We'll also have some longer term objectives in that plan as well.
How soon do you expect the bidding to be completed and the consultant to be on board?
Well, the RFP, I'm hoping to get it out in the next couple of weeks. So, realistically, we probably won't start this planning process till sometime in October. And we'll probably allow 5 to 6 months for that whole process to play out, because it will involve a lot of data collection and some site visits and, organizing those community meetings. And we certainly don't want to rush that process, because this is going to lay out our course for the coming years for the organization. So October through probably the February timeframe anyway.
Would the same consultant that provided the study a couple of years ago, will still be eligible for this round of bidding?
Sure. Yeah, that was ESCI, and they would be certainly available to or able to submit a proposal for consideration.
Thank you. Appreciate the update and the discussion. Commissioner Chuck, do you have any other questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay, I'm always available to answer questions. I'm at the office every day, so really feel free to send me a note or call or stop by, and be happy to answer any of the questions you have.
Will do. Thank you so much, Chief Holy. That was helpful. So let's move to the next item on our agenda, which is an update. Who would like to, Chief Mason, would you like to start?
Sure. Just personnel pieces. We have 2 new hires who just started the academy this week. They were hired March 1st and 2nd, and originally were given academy dates of like October and November, or November and December. Obviously, they were able to get moved up, and so they just started the academy this week. It's a 5-month process, so we expect them to be graduating somewhere in mid to late December. Additionally, we have 1 other new hire who's just completing the process. We should be bringing him on board at the beginning of next month with an unknown academy date going forward. And then we still have our 4th front office position that is waiting to be approved so that we can start testing that process, and then we can move forward with filling that role. But that's where we are personnel wise. And then we just completed 4th of July operations with every other department in the city. And everything from a police perspective went really well. And now we're just getting ready for summer operations, which means vacations and tight staffing and a lot of activity. But we feel like we're well positioned to work through the summer.
Thank you, Chief. 2 months ago, Chief Wick mentioned that there was still a vacancy within your department. Is it currently still the same, or would that? I think he mentions possibly even the month there's another vacancy coming open also. Is there any vacancy in your department currently?
So we have our front office vacancy that's still open. And then as far as police officers, the latest hire technically brings us to full staff. Although I think one of the things he was maybe discussed was there are several officers who are eligible for retirement, and we don't know when they may end up giving their notice. So that could be what he was referencing. But with the hiring of Anthony Dominguez, we are at, technically at full staff with 3 officers in training.
Okay, thank you.
Well, from the fire department, we have had some personnel changes and hirings. And first off, we have 2 firefighter paramedic candidates that have conditional offers. So with those offers, they have to do a medical, psychological background, all of those things. So we're hopeful that they complete that. And, we would hope and anticipate that one of them would start an academy in August and one would start one in September. So, and we're about, not as long as the police department, but, after we send somebody to academy, we're a good, 20 weeks probably at least before we have them available here on duty. We had one of our battalion chiefs retire, Jeff Jernigan, and we've promoted someone off the existing battalion chief. James Osberg, one of our fire lieutenants, has been promoted to battalion chief on A shift. So we're very excited about that. The battalion chiefs are a key part of our leadership team in the fire department. To fill James's lieutenant's position, we have two fire lieutenant candidates we're going to interview off an existing list next week. So we're excited to fill that position. And then that will create another opening, which, depending on who gets the position, could be an additional paramedic or an entry-level firefighter. So we've worked with Julie to set up entry-level firefighter chiefs interviews from an existing list we have. So we'll be prepared to fill that position if needed. Operationally, a lot like police, summer is the time of highest leave usage, and but we maintain our minimum staffing. We've been doing a fair amount of wildland firefighter training. As you can imagine, that's important this time of year, and just trying to keep things on track and keep everybody healthy. So that's my report.
Thank you. Yeah, stay healthy. Thank you for the report update, Chief. So any, Julie, would you like to share anything? Any update?
Oh, no, I'm all good.
You all good? So with that, unless Commissioner Shah, do you have any question or comments before we move to the next? No?
I'm good.
So, well, the next meeting date is scheduled for August 10. Is that good for everybody?
That was good for me.
It's good. Okay, good. With that, is there any last minute business or issues or questions before we adjourn the meeting? No? Well, with that, I'd like to entertain motion for meeting to be adjourned.
I move that we adjourn.
I second the motion. Those who approve the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So with that, we adjourn the meeting and hope to see you guys next, and stay cool and stay safe. Thanks again for your service, Chief. See you, Julie.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again for attending.